It is 7:35 on the 5th of March, 2025, and we are kicking off our West Concord Advisory Committee meeting. I am just going to have everyone go through, everyone who is on the committee, and say your name, that you're present for records, and then we can dive in. So let's see, Barbara, do you want to get us started?
Yep, here.
All right. Nicole?
Present.
Linda?
Present.
Greg?
Present.
Great. Okay. And then we have our town senior planner, Christine, joining. She's off camera. We've got Heather also from the planning department helping us. And then we've got Wendy from the select board here as well, sitting in. So awesome. So we do need someone to take minutes, and I am wondering, Linda, if you would be able to do that.
Sure.
And what you can do also is just rely on the recording after the meeting if you want, if it like is too distracting to take minutes and contribute at the same time. But I just need to kind of keep rotating this minutes task around. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Housekeeping items. I don't necessarily have any housekeeping. Does anyone else have any just like general thoughts that they want to share with the committee before we move on to excitingly approving some minutes? Right. Seeing none, we can dive into these minutes. So I need to share my screen and open. That is our agenda. These are the minutes. So Barbara circulated these, I think, after they were created by possibly Anna. Is it Anna who sent these to you, Barbara? Do you remember?
John did the first run through.
Okay.
And then Anna had an addition correction that she wanted.
Okay.
So I took them back and edited them and added in what she had in mind. She got back to me that said it was fine, but I did
Okay.
not hear from anybody else.
Okay. All right. So let's do a quick eyeballing of these. So we have everybody who is present, public attendees. Yeah, the Collinses. We approved minutes. And then we had, I think we had a letter that we were approving that time where we were endorsing that historical preservation funds be used on a Giroux Park improvement. Am I getting that right? I think so.
I don't think we've seen a letter yet, have we?
We ended up, no, we did see it, and we like basically approved it and sent it. So I believe that's the case. Yeah, because I got a thank you from Paul Bohm, who was on that committee, who had originally kind of asked us if we wanted to review our opinion on that. And so, yeah, we did send it. You know, time goes by so fast. We're so productive. We got letters flying all over the place, and hard to keep track of it all. Okay, so let's see, concept slides. Okay, and then we had Anna going through the West Concord Greenway concept. And so she went through her slides on the Greenway. We discussed posting them, which I do think we should still do. And then the appearance of Jeff and Krista Collins at the meeting kind of engendered a discussion about Complete Streets, because Jeff Collins was on WCAC during the time that Complete Streets was initiated, I believe. So he provided some history about that. Discussion about matrix duties. And then all of this was the Economic Vitality Committee. And
Susan, this looks like John's first run through and not my edited one.
Uh-oh, okay, hold on.
Um,
Let's see. It is very possible that because I may have had his on Google Drive, that somehow I swapped them in. So let me just take a look.
try
here.
that one again. Maybe it's the
Oh.
same. Yeah, because it's the yellow highlight that I know
Okay.
Adam wanted fixed. Yeah.
Okay, thanks so
That's the
much for
fix.
catching that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So this part was inserted by Anna, the raised walkway or pier.
Well,
Okay.
by me for her, yes.
Okay,
But she's approved it. She thought it was fine.
okay. Okay, great. All right, and so then these other pieces are related to Economic Vitality Committee. Mimi Graney had joined our meeting and she was talking about the Economic Vitality Committee's initiatives to, I think they want to put a warrant article in to alter the parking zoning for private parking. We're talking about the Guitar Museum. Okay. So does anyone else have additional changes to these minutes? Is there anything? So, all right, so let's take a vote. Okay, hold on, I'm getting a ping that someone needs to be admitted. Okay, thank you. Just joined. Oh, Allison joined. Great, welcome, Allison. Okay, so I think we can take a vote on these minutes being approved by us. Guess we'll go through and see what everyone thinks about the minutes. So, Barbara, do you approve the minutes?
I do.
Great, okay. Linda, do you approve the minutes?
I do. Excuse me.
Right.
Yes.
Nicole, do you approve the minutes?
I was not at that meeting, so I don't think you need my approval.
Okay.
But
You're
there were
technically, technically allowed to vote if you want, but you can also abstain if you want to.
I'll abstain.
Okay. All right, so Nicole abstain. Who else do we have? Greg, do you approve the minutes?
Yes, approved.
Great. And Allison, do you approve the minutes?
Yes, approved.
Awesome. Okay. I think that's everybody. Cool. So these are approved, which means, Barbara, if you want to send these minutes that you had circulated over email, this most recent version, to Heather,
Yeah.
she will put them up on the website.
Yep, we'll do that.
Okay. All right, great. So actually, I want to move on to, shoot, I just slid out of that. Back here. I do want to move actually sort of somewhat backward to housekeeping, because I just remembered what my housekeeping update was, which is, we will have Jennifer Schuneman, who is a Guitar Museum owner slash developer, join us next month. She is under deadline to put in her version of the magazine that she publishes, and the name of it is escaping me, but I know it's a popular magazine here in Concord, but she was under deadline, and had all of that, that she has to get done for in the next 2 days, so that she can issue the 250th celebratory version of that magazine. So she couldn't make it this month. And then also the MCI committee has promised that they will come next month. They had some conflicts for our meeting this time and so couldn't make it. So the way I think we can spend our time wisely during this meeting is finishing off the matrix, and then also going through any liaison reports or other, questions or observations that we have that affect West Concord. And then we can probably finish up. So hopefully that sounds okay to everybody. Since we've approved the minutes, we can move into liaison reports and assignments. Is there anyone who has had other committee encounters that they want to report on?
I only say that I'm catching up with the Transportation Committee meetings
Okay.
that are on the websites. They're very challenging to listen to. So I can only listen to them in very small snatches.
Okay.
I don't need to explain why they're so challenging to listen to on a recorded version, but at any rate, I'm working on trying to get caught up. There's nothing in particular that's come up yet. I think they have many similar interests to what we would like to do, but I'm catching up on them anyway.
Okay. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. Anyone?
I've been reviewing the Climate Action Committee. I attended one last month and then I just reviewed the minutes. They're lagging in their minutes, but I don't see anything that's really specifically pertinent to West Concord.
Okay.
And I've also I admit the community preservation.
Yep.
I'm a little behind on that, but I'll catch up.
That's okay. Yeah. Thanks for trying to follow it. I know there's so much going on. Let's see. Anybody else?
I'm the MCI Advisory Board liaison, and I am behind. I was caught up last month, but they were just going into the period where they were finally approving or figuring out who was going to be the consultant, and that's done. And then they had a lot of subcommittee meetings that I haven't had a chance to touch in on. So I don't really have a report, but I know things are moving and about to heat up. And I heard you say that they're coming to see us next. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So next meeting, which I think is going to be the 5th of April, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So they are on deck to present to us. And I think they've got kind of a boilerplate presentation they're doing for various committees that they're going in front of, but it'll give us a chance to ask our specific questions. Sorry, the meeting is going to be on April 2nd. I misspoke. So April 2nd is our next meeting, but I'm excited to hear from them, and hopefully they will be excited that we have finished our matrix and it can go into consideration with the consultants. I did look at their minutes from the most recent outreach committee meeting, because they're split into 3 subcommittees, and the outreach committee, I think, had a introduction to the consultant during the last meeting, and then possibly they went on a site walk. So it'll be interesting to hear about that. Cool. All right. And then I wanted to share, John is John joining right now? I don't want to speak for him if he's joining. John had provided a synopsis of some minutes from the rec committee, and he had, I guess, been looking at the different minutes, because he's assigned to that organization. Let me see if I can bring these up. So, not working.
What is that committee name? Is it the Concord?
Oh, the Concord
Committee?
Recreation Committee, I
Okay.
believe. Yeah. Yeah, okay, this is it right here. Yeah, Recreation Committee. So I think what he had wanted us to pay attention to or know about is this part of the minutes right here, where they are considering some updates to Ride Out. So hopefully you guys can see that. Tennis courts, pickleball. Yeah, Wendy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm aware of what's happening here, just so people know that Rec Commission created a subcommittee. They're looking at, they have a couple, the subcommittee is looking at a couple of projects, but this one in particular is they need to resurface the tennis courts, and then they're looking at the basketball courts. They're actually considering converting, there's a half basketball court and a full basketball court. They're considering flipping that half basketball court into pickleball. So I think that what I wanted to let you know is that they're going to be voting in early April on the solution. So my understanding is that subcommittee is going to make an update in mid-March to the full recreation commission. So there should be some insight on what those options are, but they're going to make a final vote in April. So the problem with the rec commission is they don't publish their meetings. So I don't even know when the meeting is in April or when the
Okay.
meeting is in March, but they are on target to make a vote in April. And the changes would be implemented probably in the fall, so after the summer. But I think that's the only thing that's really being discussed there. There's some other project work around trees and stuff, but it's not in West Concord.
Okay, that is really
That's all I
helpful to
know.
know.
Sure.
So
That
do you-
sounds like a great idea, having gone to play tennis there and having the pickleball people always taking over the
Yeah.
tennis.
Yeah, I mean, part of the challenge there is they don't have a scheduling system. It's all, and so they're
Yeah.
actually talking to the pickleball people about maybe having a more managed program there, but the pickleball people don't like it. But what we have recommended is they should get a scheduling system
Yeah.
so that people aren't surprised and they can plan
Definitely.
those activities. So,
Yeah.
but I'll let you know, I'll send you an email if I catch wind of when the rec commission is. I'm trying to watch this, but like I
Mhm.
said, they don't publish their meetings. So you really get like 2 days notice. So I can,
Okay,
Susan, I'll let you know when that next meeting is.
that would be fabulous, and I'll pay attention to my email and get it out to the group. I mean, so our opportunity to influence this would be to come to the March meeting that you're talking about, Wendy, and
Well, they're saying they're not taking, I think I'm looking to go in March so we hear what's going on and comment, because
yeah,
in April, they're gonna make their decision. So
okay,
I don't know. I'll keep you in the loop as best I know.
okay.
So-
Nicole,
then-
go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Can I just say one other
Yeah.
thing, because it's sort of a public announcement? I don't know if you guys know that on Monday, there's gonna be a presentation by the planning board or meetings around the Aspet River multi-use bridge.
Yes.
Okay,
I saw that.
Yeah.
And that's a great reminder. It's like on the homepage of the Concord website, but yeah, Elizabeth is having like open office hours in the morning and then in the evening to talk about that project. So
right, one's like, it's 7:30 to 8:30, and then that's a repeat 5:30 to 6:30. So I think there's a brief presentation and then discussion. So
Sorry,
awesome.
Wendy, that's this coming Monday?
this
the
coming
10th?
Monday, right, at Kai's Road.
Yeah.
And it's on the main website too,
Yeah,
for
it
the news.
is.
Yeah, if you go down right below that green spotlight thing, there it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you see
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Great.
So, yeah, it's right here.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it'd be great to pop in and get an update on how that bridge project is moving. Nicole, go ahead.
Hi there. Wendy, do you know with Rideout if they're going to be repaving the trail that goes around the entire park? Because a lot of it is interrupted by tree roots, so it's hard to do a stroller or a wheelchair.
My understanding is that was not in scope, but you know
Oh.
what, I would definitely send an email to them, because then, if they're gonna be doing some kind of paving, it's
Right.
worth considering it. So,
And I can't imagine it being ADA compliant with the routes that I saw. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't walk off the path to get to the loop.
yeah, I know, it's an issue around town on a couple places, so those tree roots. But send a message to Lee Jackson, who's I think it's Lee Jackson, yeah, who's the director of the recreation, and you can get a more definitive answer, at least get it on their radar screen.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so we have this update, I guess, in absentia from John, so we're glad that he is plowing through the minutes for this committee.
Yes, I did just join. Sorry for joining.
Oh,
so late.
great. Okay,
Yeah,
welcome.
just
Okay.
bad
Yes, we
time
were
here.
talking
Yep.
about this. So did you hear Wendy's update about like that this committee will probably meet again sometime in March? And
Yeah,
that would be
and
an opportunity. Yeah.
I did subscribe to the like the website alerts for that committee. So I am getting some alerts since I got a wind of those minutes. So they may be posting them late, but I am getting some kind of notification about their meetings.
Okay, great. So between you and Wendy and everyone else, we just need to kind of keep an eye out for when this meeting is, and hopefully we can go to it and hear a bit more. Excellent. Okay, so moving back to not the minutes, but all right, John, do you have any other liaison reports to share?
No, I don't. That was mine, pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so now we can move into our main event, which is finishing off this master plan. And the plan with the master plan is to be able to serve it up to the consultants that are working with the MCI committee, serve it up to the MCI committee, make sure that we can display it on our page of the website so that everyone has visibility to it. Because I think it'll be really helpful for that consultant who's helping the MCI committee out. They're under a really tight deadline, but hopefully us having done this work will help greatly in them being able to make some good recommendations. So I'm going to open up this version of the matrix, which is different than the one I sent you all in hard copy over email. So you can feel free to look at that. I haven't made any changes since I sent it to you on email, just like half an hour ago, but I'm changing one that is not going to stay in step with the one that you're looking at if you've got the hard copy from email, if you see what I'm saying. All right, so I think the rows that we still have to go over are actually John's and Greg's because we got through the other ones last week. And as I mentioned in the email that I sent, basically the only sort of adjustments to this since we went through John's and Greg's rows initially is that I had put a status in, if there wasn't already one, trying to kind of like, I don't know, normalize the statuses that we were using so that they could be like, you know, easily sorted at some point by someone. This is just a subset of them because I've got this filtered. But at any rate, so the status has been given by me, and so it's changeable. If we don't agree with my judgment, then we can certainly change it. The priority for now, like, is this item that was identified in 2010 or 2011 still important? The priority, I believe that we have been talking about this, but if the priorities don't look good to you, then we can certainly adjust. And then also, we've been putting MCI relevant, where we think that these rows are especially applicable for the development happening. So let me move you guys' pictures out of the way and we can get going with these. All right. So, sorry, I've got the pictures that keep interfering with my view. Okay, so this one is, okay, improving the sidewalk on Main Street Bridge over Assabet River. We've got this logged as not started, high priority, and I would say it's MCI relevant, because you have a lot more people roaming around. It's going to be kind of problematic. That sidewalk is bad for just like 10 people crossing it per day, let alone if it's many more. But happy to hear other thoughts on that.
Well, if the Assabet River Bridge goes through, I mean, I still agree, it absolutely needs to be repaired or fixed or widened or something. But I don't know whether it will be quite as critical if and when the Assabet River Bridge goes in, the one that they're having a meeting about to discuss next week.
Right.
Because I think people will take that more than they will come down Main Street and go back up Baker. That's just my sense. If I can avoid that sidewalk at any cost, I will. And it's worse on one side than the other is my recollection. It's worse on the Baker Ave side than it is on the other side.
Okay. I hadn't even thought of that new bridge being able to take some of the load off
I
of
think
this
it will
one.
take some of the traffic off, yeah.
What's the timing on the new bridge again?
I don't know, is there timing yet?
You know, Elizabeth commented, probably not until 2030, but it all depends on other large project funding that might happen in the state. So, but it's 25% design at this stage, so that's good.
So maybe this would only affect importance because there won't be anything going on at the MCI site either until about that same time. And I don't know how, other than obviously trying to repair it, I don't know if you can make it wider. And that's a big piece of what it needs. Because it's such a narrow bridge across the river at that point. I know they filled in a lot of the potholes on the road itself recently. The potholes are terrible right now. Anyway, so maybe it's not as high on the MCI, but it still clearly needs repair, even if it's for only the next 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. I think we could leave this as is then with the new comments, as long as everyone's in agreement with that. All right, so we'll move on to this next one. Opposite side of Church Street and Com Ave next to tracks is less defined for pedestrians, no crosswalk there, engage Concord Public Works.
Yeah, no sidewalk either. Not
Yeah.
even no crosswalk, no sidewalk.
Yeah. Which I think is confounded by the fact that the railroad is there and maybe it's like MBTA controlled or something. I'm not entirely sure, but
Yeah, Elizabeth commented on that the last time we talked about this.
Yeah.
yeah. So we've got this at medium priority and not necessarily MCI relevant. Are we okay to keep that?
That sounds about right.
I don't know if it's not safe. Feels to me like it should be maybe a high. I get very nervous at that intersection. But
Yeah, I would say it's just as high priority as the bridge, because there's a lot of foot traffic there.
yeah,
Okay. All right, so next thing is install gateway treatments at 4 entrances to village. And we do have cultural district signage. But we don't have directionality and parking information. So we
sorry,
can-
Susan, which one are you on? Those?
Oh, sorry, I am on row 47, which is install gateway treatments at 4 entrances to village. And then the assessment that John did was it's partially done because there's cultural district signage at the entrances to the village, but we don't have like wayfinding really, and parking information. So we've got
I
this.
don't know.
The signs are also a little underwhelming, and also I thought that it might be in my imagination, but I feel like one of the signs disappeared. The one that was at like Church Street and 62 across from CCC. I thought there was a sign there, and then I didn't see it the other day.
Oh, there was a sign there for sure at one point.
Yeah,
I
maybe I'm
don't-
just.
What would they have meant for? Wait, which one am I looking at? Gateway, what was a gateway treatment intended to be? Does anyone have any idea?
Isn't that you're entering the West Concord Historical District? Is that what we're talking about?
A
Yeah.
cultural district?
Kind
Yeah,
of, it
that's
wasn't
correct.
like, it wasn't a cultural district when
Sure.
this report was originally done, so they would have
Okay.
wanted something analogous, yeah.
Aren't some of those signs too high? They were installed too high, the cultural district ones?
Huh.
Yeah, they seem sort of like not quite right.
Yeah.
Like high, crooked, maybe
Behind
a
the bushes.
little small. Yeah, like you could almost imagine. I mean, it was a good effort, but you could almost imagine like more of like a kiosk kind of sign, like a wooden, like a larger, lower set sign. I'm not saying we should redo them, but maybe they could be improved, and then there should be and then I think the plan element there talks about this directional signage for parking, which is missing. And that's, we're obviously also talking about that. Parking signage in the parking conversation, but might as well keep it here too.
Okay, so we're gonna say, yeah, this is high priority, and I would say MCI relevant, given that more people will be traveling the roads that are currently not overly clear for the lowish amount of people that do travel them now.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to 48, and, oh, this is install wayfinding signage. This is just a whole myriad of different ideas over here, but the underlying sort of consensus is that this has not been done and it's a priority.
It does seem like something a number of committees have talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we can leave this as is. And now we've got install informational kiosks and business directories. The Cultural District Committee is talking about kiosks for murals. I mean, maybe we should mark this as not started. If we've said that it's not done. I feel like we have some historical kiosks at various places, especially along the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, but not like in the heart of the village.
Mhm.
I talked to somebody from the committee, and they are currently using the Bruce Freeman Trail one
Mhm.
for their information for the West Concord Junction Cultural District Committee.
So wait, they're using a kiosk on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail to.
They're using the main kiosk that is right there on Main Street
Uh-huh.
at the beginning of the path going towards Powder Mill.
Mm-hmm.
So that side of the street. So have the plantings there, you have the main kiosk.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the one they've been using.
Okay.
Using for what?
Using for what? Yeah, I'm confused too. Sorry.
Any of the information that they want to share to the public.
And that's the that's the one with the name that is too long.
Right. It's the West Concord Junction Cultural District Committee, which I'm the liaison for.
Okay, so it's in the middle of the garden area there at sort of what I would think of as the head of the rail trail.
That's how can you have, but there's the trail on the other side too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as obvious.
Do they consider it the head?
I have no idea. No, I think the head is in Chelmsford.
Okay. So we'll take away the head, garden area, Bruce Freeman Rail Trail at Main Street and what is that? Main Street and Com, that intersection there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like, so it's being used to present community information, but not necessarily like official wayfinding guidance and stuff like that.
That I know of, yes, for within West Concord.
Okay.
I haven't looked at it in a bit.
I would say that's not started. Let's not give him any excuses.
Yeah, I agree.
And we have install historic interpretation signboards. I guess, so they're on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. Historical Commission going through historic resources plan, create cohesion for signage. Camp Clifford, Bogosian. This looks like Elizabeth Hughes is gonna check with Ann Clifford. But yeah, I've heard that they're doing some inventory of historic sites. However, this is related to, okay, historic interpretation signboards. Uh, I guess we've got this as partially complete, medium priority, and MCI relevant. What do you guys think of this? I mean, should we try to make it more important and classify it as not started? Because, I mean, you could argue maybe that's the case.
Are those the ones, like, are you thinking about it started because there's the ones like by the Club Car Cafe, I don't know what the name of that place is that,
And
you know how there's some of those
yeah, a little
historical.
further along the trail too.
Yeah, yeah,
In
So-
beyond Concord Park, there are some, or one at least.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they really follow the Bruce Freeman rail trail and comment on things that have happened along that expanse, but I'm not sure that I've seen them elsewhere in the village.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where else I've seen it. I can't think of any either. So, I mean, I think partially complete is accurate because, you know, there definitely are those, but
Yeah, so you can say not done except for Bruce Freeman interpretive panels. Okay. All right, so this next one, all right, so we're done, I think, with John's Rows, and now we're getting into Greg's. This one is Main Street Streetscape Improvements, Segment 1, which is from Bridge to Com Ave, selected street planting sites, planter boxes, curb extensions, crosswalk, street furnishings. From Bridge to Com Ave. That's probably that dilapidated bridge that crosses the Assabet, I'm guessing. Repainted the crosswalks and have updated around Junction Park with the crosswalks and curbs. The area is furnished as well at Junction Park. Hanging flowers on street lamps, benches, bike racks missing other than Junction Park, mostly complete. Then we had a new idea, remove street parking on one side of the street. Oh, this was supposed to be West Village Tavern. To Com Ave crosswalk from West Village Tavern to Dance Studio near Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, Church Street from Tea Cakes to other side of Church. Okay, that's where the railroad is. A lot of notes here. Okay. All right, maybe we should get back to what the fundamental question was. Main Street streetscape improvements. So in this area, Greg had said that this was complete, and I think one could argue that, yes, improvements have been made, especially related to Junction Park, which is that little park outside of, what do you call it? The Club Car Cafe.
Yeah, there have been suggestions for benches for years, other benches. I think Deborah's has some benches outside, and that's about it.
So in this area, from the bridge to Com Ave, okay. Which is really like kind of where the fire station is, and then moving towards Junction Park, like moving towards Club Car Cafe along Main Street. That's this area here. So I guess I would agree that in that area, there could be more benches than there are. There really are only the benches at Junction Park. All right, so do you want to put this as partially complete?
Or what are our options? Did we do mostly complete at some point or?
No. I don't think we did. No, I think we've got not started, partially complete, and complete.
Okay, well then I guess partially complete. It's certainly more complete than a lot of the other ones we've been talking about tonight.
Okay. So we could make this partially complete, I would say, because it's more complete than many of the others, perhaps we should put this at like a medium or low priority.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Okay.
I think sorry, I'm coming off a cold, so I apologize.
That's okay.
So I think the problem that they face from, I think when they said bridge, I think they were thinking about Bridge Street down. I don't know if it was the actual bridge. I'm not sure. I mean, I
Okay.
went from the bridge or bridge. Is the problem is the sidewalks from the bridge all the way down are so narrow.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
not wide, like they're not wider like they are down by the shops after you go beyond like tea cakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wider, so you can't put benches there unless they widen the sidewalks.
Like
So-
by Dunkin' Donuts, you're saying?
Exactly, like
Yeah.
that, and across the street in front of like the 7-Eleven in West Concord Liquors, like it's too narrow to be able to put
Mhm.
anything there. So I mean, I think that's part of the reason why everything just kind of ended up at Junction Park, and they never did anything with that short span of walkway that's in front of like the strip mall as well as in front of Dunkin' Donuts, because there's just not enough space. You know, if you go down and look in front of Deborah's, there's a ton of space on that sidewalk so they can put those benches in, you know. So that's just my 2 cents as to why I think they didn't do it in the first place, because they'd have to do a widening project of some sort to that sidewalk to make it possible, you know. So so to say that's partially complete, I think it's only partially complete, Barbara, because they can't add, you know, it's too narrow if they try to put something there in the first place, you know. I mean, because they have that like rock wall that kind of starts in front of where the signage is there, and it just, there's just not, the sidewalk's not wide enough, you know. And I feel like that even plays into an ADA issue as well, if they did try and put something there, unless they put like a pad, you know, like they put like a cement pad like right behind it, you know, in the grass, and then put something in, you know, put the bench there,
Mhm.
versus, you know, even widening the sidewalk. It's all grassy there, so they could add like a cement pad there where they could put a bench down. So, but they'd have to do more than just bolting a bench to the, you know, bolting a bench to the sidewalk.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So like this area would possibly be a target for more complete streets work. I mean, if the sidewalks got widened, say in front of Deborah's using complete streets, then this area would also benefit from something like that.
Yeah.
For what the space, how the spaces can, for what the sidewalk. Oh, okay. All right, we'll leave it as partially complete because clearly some improvement would be helpful. It may be hard to solve for this given the narrowness of the sidewalk, but I would say we should put this at, I don't know, I'm thinking about a medium or low.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would
Okay.
agree with that too.
Okay. So do you guys think medium or do you think low?
I think it's a low thing, because it's far enough away, especially within conjunction of MCI. It's not. I don't think it's a huge priority.
Okay. I think that is good. All right, so let's see. This is Main Street Streetscape Segment 2. And Segment 2 is Junction Park to Fowler Library. Selected tree planting sites, their boxes, public art. It's kind of a large area.
You mean along Main Street? It's a funny thing, Junction to Fowler.
Yeah, oh, they do mean Main Street, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here we've got, Greg says they repainted the crosswalks at one point and curbs have been updated around Junction Park. Not much done from this list. Tables and chairs, gardens at Fowler, in between, nothing. Stairwell from Harvey Wheeler down to Main, check with facilities, partly done, needs improvement. Yeah, I feel like that stairwell is problematic. And,
Treacherous.
yeah.
I think they're close on it though.
Really?
Yeah, no, that was discussed at the Council of Aging, that it sounded like there was, something's moving. It may not be the same as it was, but something's happening there.
Oh, wow, okay.
Is it still blocked off? I haven't even
Yes,
seen
it
it.
is.
Yeah,
It's not
okay.
safe. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so Junction and Fowler are in decent shape, but in between, I agree, there's not a whole lot that's been added. So we can say partially complete and medium priority. Does that still stand? I think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go down to streetscape. Oh, Com Ave now. So we've now got Com Ave, segment 1. Junction Park to Church Street. Selected street tree planting, planter boxes. It's the same stuff they're recommending. So thinking about Junction Park to Church. Planters, curbs, lampposts, crosswalks, and little sitting area by tea cakes has been updated. Gone, plantings complete. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's done. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
that seems fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all done.
Okay. Awesome. So then this next one is segment 2.
It's just a
Church
continuation of
Street to
there.
Kenton. Yeah.
Same thing, just continues down. It's kind of like they broke up from Bridge all the way down to like where Com Ave turns off and goes up to MCI. They basically have just done the same thing and broke it up like 4 times, 5 times.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like complete streets helped with that. So
Yeah.
I think that's done. Okay, so now we are getting to the Harold Street Extension streetscape improvements. This says, on new street, install sidewalks and selected street tree planting sites, street furnishings, all the amenities. So Greg observed, sidewalk does not go the entire street. It just ends at Salt Box, then it continues on the island after the post office. They're not street furnishings on this road, not wide enough for too much, including sidewalk is broken up.
Hmm.
Not a priority unless buildings removed. Okay. All right, so I think this assessment of partially complete and low priority seems about right. Is there anyone who has other thoughts about this?
I wonder if the new guitar museum will have an impact on some of this.
Hmm. That's right. Add that, new guitar use. Okay, no impact. Okay. Okay. Next we have Bradford Street streetscape improvements. So this is looking for the same stuff like sidewalks,
Mhm.
tree plantings. Bradford Street does not have any sidewalks, and there is one street lamp as you turn down the road. Shared parking lot is there. Nothing else has been updated beyond the first 30 feet of the road from Com Ave. Incomplete after turn.
Wait,
Would
this
you
is
like-
right by Concord Outfitters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that turn down there to Bradford Mills.
Nothing else has been updated. Could do parallel parking on Bradford and put in sidewalk. Back parking lot is private. Some businesses lease spaces for employees. Extra post office spaces. All right, so we've got this as partially complete and low priority. Are we okay with that assessment?
Yeah.
That sounds about
I
right.
am.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. Great, so we have made it through all the ones that we needed to tackle, and that means I should hopefully be able to, let's see, remove filter. Maybe what I want to do is just unfilter this. Left all 9. Okay. So now we have the full list back. Let's see. Wanted to mention, I was able to talk to Elizabeth about the ones that she had a lot of insight on. I just went by her office and we banged through like 10 or 12 of these. So I do have all of her notes in here now too, under the status. Let's see. Yeah. So I can always take this highlighting off for the final sheet. Is there anything else on here you all want to look at as a group? Because my goal is that we would vote on saying that this is final and then be able to turn it over to others who need to use it. But I want to make sure that everyone is comfortable with the way things settled for their particular rows and then also like what we're recommending in general. Do you want me to sort on anything so we can see like the different things that we're saying are high priority or sort on the things that aren't complete?
You know, it might be helpful to say that it's finished from us at this point, but be aware that if other committees and people look at things, they may say, oh, no, no, that one's done, or no, we've taken that off the list, and then we can update this.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that the 6 or 8 of us can make it perfect, you know.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I guess what we could do is vote that to the best of our knowledge, this is accurate, but that we are in possession of the master copy and are happy to take on other updates to it if people in the community have observations.
Yeah, maybe that should even be a goal to distribute it and then specifically ask for feedback. And even if it's feedback that says, oh, we're working on this one, that would be
Yeah.
really helpful for us to know.
That's a really good idea. So yeah, I guess maybe when we post it on our website, we could have a note with it that enables people to email someone's inbox. It could be mine, maybe it could be Elizabeth's over at Town Planning, to be able to kind of crowdsource the updates that we may not be aware of.
Yep.
Okay.
Susan, I just can't see it on. We might have talked about it at some point, but the sidewalk from like Main Street along Church Street that goes along all those hedges in front of the theater down toward the dry cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on the list?
I think it is somewhere. Let me think about where it would be.
Because that came up in our walk. Remember our walkabout?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
everybody was complaining
Both
about
sides
it.
of the street. They're
So-
bad
so-
on both sides of the street, yeah.
Yeah, both sides are real bad.
Okay.
We had like wheelchairs on the walkabout that were unable to like, especially in the winter, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just pedestrian crossings. That's not it.
Are you looking for what John just mentioned?
Yeah, I'm trying to scan for anything that mentions Church Street because I'm pretty
Church
sure. I
Street
mean,
down to
yeah.
tracks. at the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah, that's about the crosswalk. This one is what? From Bridge to Common Ave. Street. But that's Main, I think. No, Common Ave. But I want the thing that was about Church Street.
Yeah, where'd it go?
Here's this one, Church Street to
Are
Kenneth.
you looking
Young
for like youth
Square.
theater? Isn't that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. This is not it. Hold on. I'm not at the end yet, though. Decorative light fixtures.
Did you search for theater?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we didn't mention it in here. I don't know how it was listed.
Thought you had it a minute ago.
That was related to the lighting, the one that I
Oh.
just was on, but here I've got one. New Harvey Wheeler, that's the Overlook Park. Pocket Park. All right, let me try theater. So it's not coming up.
Concord, yeah. That's right.
I can try youth. It's kind of like a unique word, right? Mm. I mean, maybe it wasn't on this list. I'm sure we've talked about it as a committee, like in the process of going through all of this, but maybe it didn't hit their radar when they were making this list.
Rams.
Maybe. Like, I hesitate to add something to this since it wasn't, I mean, we could like be adding to this all day long, you know, it would get out of scope really quickly, but I do feel like that part of, yeah, from Main on Church Street, from Main to Commonwealth is like the sidewalks are not in great shape. I think we've identified it on our walkabout presentation, which I have actually recently updated and also want to post on our site. But yeah, I don't think that it's listed here unless anyone else who has a copy of this from when I sent it earlier wants to like keep searching for particular words.
I just did and I couldn't find it. I kept expecting it to come up and then I don't remember it coming up.
Yeah.
Seems like the one piece of that whole area that we didn't actually talk about.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been either John or Greg because the pieces that they had looked at were those sections, you know, tea cakes to whatever and Junction
Yeah.
Park to tea cakes and.
And it did better, for sure. It definitely.
Which street come out, Mr. Tracks?
Yeah, I think it's just missing.
Yeah, I
Junction Park to
Junction Park to Church Street.
Comav Streetscape. But this is, yeah, it's focusing on Comav. It's not really,
Yeah,
Right.
it never covers
Yeah.
church, I mean, church to Main, you know,
Yeah.
like Church Main and Com Ave.
that triangle, yeah. This is Comav also. This was one that I did. This was light fixtures. Yikes. Okay, so it's not in here. I mean, maybe what I can do when I send this over to Elizabeth for posting is ask how to handle that situation, that they didn't seem to really focus on Church Street at all. Like when you think about, they were using Church Street as like an endpoint in many of their other, I guess, recommendations, but they didn't actually say anything about refurbishing Church Street. And that's like a pretty glaring omission now that I think about it.
I would definitely throw it out to her and just be like, hey, is this something we can add or whatever? Because
Yeah.
I agree with you. I used to run that loop
Mhm,
and that circle. I used to run it when I lived on Maine, and man,
mhm.
like I'd have to hop onto the street sometimes because it was just so bad, you know,
Yeah,
because you
right,
are like jumping over roots and all that stuff.
Maybe
right.
we need somebody that says additional comments.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I totally agreed.
So I don't know, let's gather an extra row right now since we're all together and we feel strongly about this. I'll put it on and then it can always be like, I don't know, adjusted, removed, made into something else if this list needs to be only what they came up with in 2011. Um, so let's see. Project.
Really a safety issue. And it's funny because in that list that was just up, connectivity and all of that, safety was not even one of the things that was being considered.
Ah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so this is Church Street, like pedestrian experience, basically, right? Like that's
Mhm.
what we're looking at.
Church Street sidewalks.
Sidewalks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Church Street pedestrian sidewalks, broken tree roots,
And narrow.
Also narrow, yeah. And then
narrow.
I think they're all asphalt that's like falling apart or partially asphalt. It's all a mess.
Um, so they were like concrete and patched with asphalt, or they're complete asphalt, but they just
Just
are,
asphalt.
okay.
Brian, come on.
So it's funny to watch the the little tractor snowplow that they use for the sidewalk to watch them go up there because it's like the little thing is wider than the sidewalks. It has to go around the trees and stuff.
It's also that it has that curve, that bend. So that adds another, to your point, Barbara, about safety.
Hmm.
So the curve, because you're gonna have cars coming around and someone walking on an overly narrow sidewalk that's very close to the street, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And it's hard to see cars, hard to see from the cars to the person to the car.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny because there are the sidewalks don't really begin until after Harvey Wheeler. Almost on both sides. They might start a little bit further from the library, but yeah, they come around the corner from the lights on the library side. But there's no sidewalk on the Concord Children's Center side until after their driveway.
No, wait, there's a sidewalk at the light by the library, right, on the Concord Children's Center side.
There is a full one there all the way along.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because I used to drop my kids off there
Okay.
every day,
Mhm.
so.
And I walk it a lot.
I walk it, but on the other side.
um, okay, campus pedestrians, cars, full visibility for both.
Where there, what's the, wait, so where there isn't one is right after, wait, is there one? On the, you're saying on the library side, after the library driveway parking lot?
I think
Is
that's
there
where
one?
it starts there, I think.
Starts there, okay.
Oh, so like there's no sidewalk as you curl around from the front of the library to the side of the library?
But there must be, or
That's what I'm,
There is
I'm
a
gonna have to walk it this week again.
I
2 days ago, you know,
I've
me go
walked
to
it
Google
many times.
Maps.
I live near the library,
yeah.
as does John.
And,
Now Susan gonna pull up.
I'm gonna pull up Google Maps, let's see.
so you're
I know-
saying, Nicole, there is one or there isn't one?
There is
Sidewalk.
sidewalks on both sides of Church Street.
Okay.
Let's do Street View. Um, let's see here, right? And I want to do.
Whatever there is, then it needs help.
Okay. I love this summer
Yeah,
scene.
there it is, okay.
Okay, so this goes around, it wraps around the library and then wraps around here too. but like, look at all that. That's not great. A little
It goes downhill, no, no pun intended, when it starts to go downhill.
bit.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah, see how narrow that is right there?
yeah.
It's terrible. You feel like you're in someone's car when you're walking there
Mm.
practically.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, maybe I'll grab a picture of this in my pitch to Elizabeth to have this kind of be like an extra thing included, just so that we make our case because yeah.
I am impressed with your Google Maps facility. I would not be able to pull up a picture of the sidewalk.
If you're gonna be chair of this committee, that's what
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
have.
Yeah, I guess so.
It is kind of a shortcut in like kind of understanding what is out and about in West Concord. Like if you can't drive it or walk it yourself, Google Maps is your
You
best
have to
friend.
be able to do Google Maps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
frankly, the other side is even worse. Oh, now we're gonna see that too. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked. Let me show you.
Yeah. This looks like it was a spring picture. Doesn't it seem like the buds are just coming out on the trees and stuff? Oh yeah, here by Junction Square.
And that's where it gets, yeah.
I
Anyway,
see.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so I'll send some pictures and we'll make our case on this. But our, well, project or program is this status sidewalk in very bad condition. And let's see, I mean, do we think that this is something, would we say, well, this is probably not started, right? High priority, but MCI, I'm not sure if it's MCI relevant. I
Yeah.
could go either way on that.
high priority is okay and not MCI relevant.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Are you guys okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I will get this in better shape and then submit to Elizabeth and make our case for adding row 78. And then we can get this posted. We'll post it, as you guys said, with an invitation for folks to let us know if they have updates on any of these items or have more to share, because I think that'll be great for everyone to chip in. All right, so let's see, can we vote on the finality of this, the rows that we tackled from the 2011 list? And the addition of row 78 to be cleaned up by me?
Sure. What are we voting on again?
So we're basically voting that this is our completed matrix assessing the West Concord master plan in terms of its like current day
Updated.
status, I guess,
It's
updates.
an updated.
Yeah,
I
an
don't know if
updated
that
master
requires a
plan.
vote, but I guess we could vote on it.
I feel like it might be, yeah, I don't know if it requires a vote, but it might make it more official and be more robust that like our entire committee agrees that this is our assessment and we're happy to hear other people's inputs on this, but this is our work product that we're going to submit to the MCI committee.
I have.
Sure.
Maybe I should shorten that. So, okay, I make a motion that that this updated matrix is our final assessment of the status of the West Concord master plan, which was issued in 2010. We are updating the elements that were recommended to assess whether they were completed or not.
That's a very long motion.
I know. Well, so someone can feel free to edit that down if they want.
I second the motion.
Whatever it is.
I think we all understand in concept what I'm trying to get at, like that this is our matrix that we have labored over and we have assessed the status of West Concord as compared to the West Concord of 2010.
It was seconded, yes.
Okay, all right. So all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, aye as well. Everyone voted? Okay. All right, awesome. So I'm going to pass this on and we can consider this to be complete. Thank you so much for hanging in on this detail. I know it's kind of sometimes tedious, but I think this is great work that we're going to be able to hand off to.
Yeah,
the
good.
MCI
No,
committee.
good work, Susan, at driving that forward. It was a long process, but I think it's a lot of value for everybody.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without you all. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to get back to our agenda and see if there's anything else. We are getting towards 8:45 here. Okay. Does anyone have any people that they know of who are considering joining or that they want to reach out to join our committee? Just want to make certain that we consistently have a kind of a pipeline of folks who are coming on board.
No.
Okay. If you do know anyone who you think would be great on the committee, feel free to reach out to them. I need to do that with some folks that I know. We're going to have in a few months or so vacancies because I will roll off and John will roll off. And we've both done 6-year terms, which is crazy to think of, but we have. And so we can't re-up ourselves again. So that's kind of what's looming in terms of needing to get some fresh folks onto the committee and continue all this great work.
When is that, Susan, that you're rolling off?
I will in June, I think, because that's when
Yep.
town meeting is.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the end, yep,
And same for John?
yep. Yeah, everyone's except, so the way your assignment is, there's some crazy rules, but really technically it's at the end of town meeting because it's in June.
Yeah.
Wow, Susan, so who's gonna fill your shoes? That's a big one.
I don't know.
As
I
somebody who
think-
knows Google Maps like you, I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah. Someone who has like a little bit more spare time than me, I think. But at the same time, like probably maybe between now and then we can all talk about how to make it such that the committee has like a division of labor that is rewarding to everybody, but also where each person is having like an experience where they're doing a little something extra on the committee. I think we've tried to accomplish that over the last couple of months, but we can keep working on it. Because I think, yeah, the chairperson's role isn't super hard, except for sometimes it involves like organizing and project management. And that's sometimes what I end up having not enough time for, unfortunately.
There are bulletin boards in Fowler Library, and we might as well make use of some of these other bulletin boards to try
Oh, yeah,
people.
yeah.
There are bulletin boards outside of tea cakes. Now that we know that somebody's using they call it a kiosk, but to me, it's just another bulletin board over at the beginning of the rail trail on the far side of Maine. Maybe we could put something there that maybe something at Harvey Wheeler.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of groups that meet there in addition to the preschool and then the children's center, to try and really let people know if they want to have a voice for what goes on in West Concord, we can
Mhm.
have their voice.
Yeah.
I think that, just asking people to fill out the quote unquote green card, it not efficient enough right now.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I do have a flyer that I've used in the past to recruit members. And so what I can do is send that out to you all so that you have it as well. Like you can print it and put it in the place that you, I don't know, come in contact with bulletin boards. So we can all do our
Even the
part.
banks have bulletin boards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those of us who rarely go into a bank anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is on our radar. Good. And then let's see, in-person meetings. I'm happy for us to plan an in-person meeting if that would be good for us. Next month, which is April, it could be nice to still remain over Zoom just because we're going to have these 2 guests joining. And I feel like it's going to be easiest for them to do a Zoom meeting versus in person. So that's going to be like, the MCI committee and then also Jen Shinneman. So maybe we should plan for, if we're doing in person, something say like May timeframe. The June meeting, I wouldn't be there for, I guess. But yeah, does anyone have interest in meeting in person in May?
Since that would be your last meeting, we should, right?
Sure, why not? Yeah. Make it a party, right? Let's see.
But you said the next 2 meetings we shouldn't do in person, and that would be,
Well,
May-
no, so just the next one, which is
Just the
April
next one,
2nd.
okay.
Yeah, because we have these two guests joining and I feel
Yes,
like it
gotcha.
would complexify things if they had to come somewhere physically, and then we also had to run a hybrid meeting, because I think there'll be interest in what they have to say, and so we'd have folks probably joining on Zoom a lot, and it can
Yeah,
just be
yeah. No, that's
challenging.
fine.
to
I just
try to run
misunderstood
that.
you.
No, that's okay. So that would be May 7th in person.
Mm-hmm.
Do folks think
Sounds good.
they would be able to do that? Okay. So
Mhm.
I will work on getting access to a physical space. I might try the Concord Municipal Light Plant, which I don't know if you guys have been over there, but it's kind of like on the other side of the Rotary by the, I don't know, the MCI farm / solar panels. But they have a nice conference room from what I hear, and we would have access to any Zoom amenities, which is sometimes hard to come by, specifically in Harvey Wheeler. It's hard to get.
Not able to help me.
So
Yeah.
I'll try for that, and I'll let you guys know what I can reserve for that meeting on May 7th.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I think it'll be John's last meeting too, if he's on the
Yep.
same roll-off schedule as me, so,
Hey, Susan,
yeah.
based on what I'm seeing from the website, and I don't know if the website's correct, but it's
Mhm.
actually you, Barbara, and Anna who are rolling off this year. John's got one more year through the 26th.
Oh,
So 2026. So that's on the website. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I just I was going to look at it and I saw that it was you, Barbara, and Anna.
So I don't know, does Barbara have a second, third term coming up? I don't know.
And Anna's new.
Yeah, well, it says Anna's on here for this year. So I don't know what.
I think
Well,
you got some weird.
Somebody else's, term.
right,
Yeah, she's
that's
filling
what
in.
happened.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't actually count to her initial 3-year, like when you do 2 terms, if you're filling in for a vacancy, then it doesn't actually count for the 2-term limit.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But you know what, can I ask a question while you're talking about this? Does
Mhm.
Anna need to be does Anna need to be reappointed though? If her term does end in 2025?
Yes, I think
Okay,
she
because I
would
can,
need to be.
I can just
Yeah.
facilitate that. And then Barbara, is yours up?
that what?
As you're listed as terming on this year too.
I guess so.
But is this your second term?
No.
No.
Okay, so you have an opportunity to re-up.
Opportunity of a lifetime.
Yes.
If you want to be
I
reappointed,
spent 11 years on CHCC.
So what's another 3 on WCAC, right? I
right,
mean,
yeah,
it's gonna go
right.
by in a flash.
but I can facilitate those if that's appropriate at this point, but you let me
And-
know.
Yeah, can Allison move up to a full member? Does that help?
Actually, that's what would happen originally when you have a vacancy, right? Your associate should move up to a full member.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When that vacancy occurs, so, yeah.
Okay. So I guess we will confirm with you, Alice, or sorry, Wendy, what
Yeah.
movement we want to have
Yeah.
happen with our members.
Yeah.
And we will also put up some flyers when it's not so cold outside and it's easier to get around. And I will reach out to some folks who I think might be possibly waiting in the wings to become interested in our committee. Next meeting, the April meeting, would be good for any potential new joiners to be present at, because we're going to have 2 folks sharing, well, first of all, development plans from Jen, and then the MCI committee sharing their project. So it'd be a great one for any possible new members to join, because they get to really see the exciting work that happens. Cool.
There's planning and-
All right. Do we have any comments from the public?
Monica Fossil. And there's also the dumb.
See anything? All right. So seeing that we have no further business, I make a motion to adjourn.
You can just announce that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
All right,
Thanks.
take care. Thanks for all the hard work.